Dun, 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 dun. Mnemonic now. Dun, dun, dun. Johnny Mnemonic. Dun, 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 dun.
A data courier, literally carrying a data package inside his head, must deliver it before he dies from the burden or is killed by the Yakuza. Johnny Mnemonic is up next on Inside Movies. Hey guys, welcome to Inside Movies, the movie review show where comic book writers, artists, and a novelist and future comic book writer Andrew Buckley will be discussing movies. And lots of times we do 80s and 90s action movies. This week we're kicking off Keanu Reeves month. I'm joined by editor-in-chief of Merc Publishing, Murphey, who's not impressed with having to watch this movie.
I'm angry.
Writer-illustrator, GMB CHOMICHUK, and novelist Andrew Buckley. Let's get into the good. What do we like about this one?
This is not a good movie, but it's based on an excellent story by William Gibson. And now we'll talk about some other things. I fully accept the blame of watching this movie, which does not stick the landing, the takeoff, the midpoint run. But man, entertaining.
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
Hack your own brain. Big dolphin. Ice-T living under a bridge.
Okay, I got one. When I was in high school, I hated Keanu Reeves. I hated him. I called him Canoe because I was an asshole teenager, and I like that this movie reminded me why I used to hate Keanu Reeves.
But you don't hate him anymore.
I don't hate him now that I know that he's such a good, just a good guy. You know, I like him. And now he chooses roles, or he's given roles that he can just be himself, and that works. No, I can't continue on in this section.
Yeah, so I used to not be a Keanu Reeves lover so much, and I've come around on him. But this movie, I did like some of the concepts, as Greg was saying. The data courier in your head, I thought was a neat concept. The dolphin genius, the kind of low-tech people versus the melding of technology and pharmaceutical companies into one thing, and then people being against that, I thought was interesting. I liked it. I didn't like it. I liked some things about it.
Now, can't we talk about the coolest part of the movie, which is the Yakuza boss with the thumb and the laser thumb?
I had that on my good list, actually.
There's some good things in this movie. And also, I'm sorry I've forgotten the actor's name, but he is a pretty powerful and prominent actor out of Japan. And so in the Japanese release of the film, I'm told there is a cut where he has a much larger role.
The best part of this movie, for me, was the text roll at the beginning of it that described the world. Because I was like, oh, wow, this sounds cool. And that was the extent of that.
That's because the source material is really cool. The source material is really cool. The movie, not so much. It's like the best they could do. It's a movie where I was talking to my kids about it recently, that your average science fiction television show now could pull off better than they could in the 90s. But, they were doing the best with what they had.
Were they doing the best? I don't know.
It's what they had.
I did like Dolph Lundgren as the preacher.
No,
assassin.
that wasn't bad.
No, I liked him. And
I had that in my good.
Yeah. I thought it's cool. I was constantly staking people's palms, and he had the shepherd's cane, and I like that concept as an assassin. It seems very comic booky to me, and I liked it.
It hurts me, George, that the one thing that you like in this movie is the one thing that wasn't in the source material at all.
You have so many William Gibson books, it's ridiculous.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's been the same book the whole time.
This was such a hard movie to get my head around, because this is a foreign movie theoretically, because it's Canadian. It's a Canadian movie. Do you know it's a Canadian movie, guys? This is a Canadian movie.
Are you proud of that?
No, not even.
I am. What other Canadian movie has a cybernetic dolphin?
Okay, that is
Name one.
No, there isn't.
with a cybernetic dolphin.
But Greg, that is why Jones' cybernetic dolphin is on my good list, because I got to the end of this movie and I was like, I don't even know what to say good about this. So I just started picking the ridiculous things that I thought were like unique. So the laser whip fingernail, the cybernetic dolphin, Dolph Lundgren screaming "It's Jesus time" I thought was epic before he came. That was very entertaining to me. And Keanu Reeves doing his calming Tai Chi in the bathroom I thought was lovely.
I think that scene of Keanu Reeves doing calming Tai Chi in the bathroom was him reading the script and then just like doing that, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna put that in the film. Put that in the film.
It doesn't make sense though, right? I mean, he did Point Break, he did Speed, and then he did Johnny Mnemonic? And he seems like this is his worst acting that he has ever done. It's shit. I was watching going like, I can't believe this is the same Keanu Reeves who I just watched in Speed.
I have to imagine, I was relying on you. I was relying on you, Andrew, to have done the deep dive into this film to tell me whether or not he was a Gibson fan, and that's how he got attached and how it got made.
Fun fact about this is that he took acting lessons from Nicolas Cage for this role. Is that real? It fucking could be.
That was the most extreme reaction I've ever seen from Murphey.
Oh my god. Even worth watching this movie, you have to admit, just to see Ice-T yell, "Pack your own brain." Right? Right? Right?
No.
No?
You know this was
Robert... Yet?
You know this was the director's only movie that he's ever fucking done. Robert Longo's only film is Johnny Mnemonic. That's it. Nothing else.
It's ambitious. It was
He was arrested for it. That's why.
I hope he was killed for it. Yeah, that's right. Killed by a cybernetic dolphin. I hope that's how he went out. Or by Dolph Lundgren screaming "Jesus time" and then killing him with a cross. That's what I'm hoping.
Do you think that a high filmmaker was looking at the word dolphin and then was like, what we need is Dolph Lundgren also in this movie? Do you think that's how that happened? Because he's not in the original story. Like, that's not a thing.
What a missed opportunity that they didn't call the dolphin Lundgren. That would have been perfect.
And he could have did the voice.
Could have did the voice.
You know what? Actually, this movie would have been like really cool if like the filmmaking crew and actors that did Fear and Loathing Las Vegas did their own take on this thing, and it was like totally like trippy, and like it'd be like going in and out of Keanu Reeves' like consciousness because his brain is just like overloading. I could be in for that.
Murphy, I'm sorry I made you watch this movie. So I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to remind people of better media out there. Do you have any?
Well, all media is better media, but the best media is Merc Publishing. We have issue number 5 of Born of Blood. It is, if you want something that is absolutely nothing like Johnny Mnemonic, this one's for you. It's the penultimate issue of the story of GRS and her origin story. Coming out in stores February 21st. Go to your local comic shop, tell them I want Born of Blood, or just Merc Publishing in general. We've got our final issues of Born of Blood, Death Rage, and Miss Meow are all hitting stores in the next couple months. You're not going to want to miss this. Go pick up those single issues before they blow up, because they are.
And there's a link to Merc Publishing in the description of this video, so click that link and go and get the Merc books. Let's get into the bad. What did we not like about Johnny Mnemonic?
Okay, I have a pretty long list here. I have to say, I have a pretty long list of things that I don't like about this movie, but they're deep cuts related to the source material. There should be genetically modified people who are like spliced with Dobermans, not in the movie. Molly Million should have knife hands and silver closing in her eyes, not in the movie. There should be a giant, awesome fight on a screaming, moving platform between the Yakuza boss and Molly Millions. Doesn't happen in this movie. All the good things that are in the story that kind of squeezed out in favor of like in an MTV sequence. I don't know what's going I have other things, but we'll leave those of you who actually hate this movie some space.
Murphy, you said the opening scroll exposition was the part that you liked. I hate opening scrolls. They work on Star Wars and nothing else. Like, if you have to tell, like, preface your story with, like, what was it, like 5 fucking paragraphs of what this is all about before you start it, it's gonna be a shit film. They told us so in the first minute. Like, it was right there. We saw it coming.
I'll start off with number one. I've never taken so many notes on a movie before. I was so angry watching this, and it just kept getting worse and worse. I will start off with one thing that's kind of in the good. It takes place in 2021. There's a worldwide pandemic, and all of the corporations are profiting off of it. Okay, that I believe. The writing was so not just bad, but like it took cheesy to a level that wasn't funny. It wasn't quippy. It wasn't punny. Like he walks into a room.
You ordered a pizza once, and that made that fun. He
walks into a room, places a bomb on the door before he walks in. The guy says, "Time to die," and he goes, "Time," and then the bomb goes off. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. And then the fight scenes are so awful. Like it's not even like it's bad choreography. It's just badly done. And the fake fight noises like don't time up right a lot of times.
Oh my god.
And I was messaging with somebody while watching this movie, and he was getting a live review, and I was getting so angry. I'll let someone else. I'm gonna cool off, and then I'll come back.
The fight sound effects sound like they were pulled from fucking Streets of Rage on the Sega Genesis. All right, it was just like, I'm like, oh my god, they keep doing that every time somebody punches somebody. That's not what a punch sounds like. That's not what a punch sounds like in movies. Like, it's just so bad. I'm not as angry about this as I was about Fear and Loathing, just to be perfectly clear. But I did not like my time watching this stupid movie. This has got to be the reason that Dolph Lundgren just didn't act for years after 1995, because no one would ever touch him after this. And also, the crap computer graphics. And I literally wrote, this piece of shit was after speed, question mark, question mark, question mark. Like, how did this even happen? How is this the same fucking dude acting who was then in The Matrix, who was then John Wick? Like, makes no sense. Stupid fucking movie, Greg. Very upset with you.
Also, okay, to go back, sorry. I'm rolling off of him with the acting. So my point earlier about him taking acting lessons from Nicolas Cage, if I closed my eyes and listened to the monologue that he gives about how he wants to just like, he wants room service and he wants a $10,000 hooker. If you close your eyes, you would believe that was Nicolas Cage. And I honest to God think that if Nicolas Cage had been in this movie, it actually would have been good, because it's so fucking bad. And he is great in those things. He can take a bad movie and just Nick Cage the hell out of it.
You know what's cool though, if you think about it? This movie was made in the 90s, and now we live in the later than it was set. And pretty soon, Murphy, you can have your wish and have AI make you this movie again, starring Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's coming.
That's the most Johnny Mnemonic thing ever, actually.
Yeah, so I felt like the acting is pretty wooden and it's rough. Deanna Myers, who plays the bodyguard girl, she's not great. She's pretty, it's really pretty, but I didn't like her performance. And Johnny Mnemonic as a character is not very likable. Like that monologue, it's like he's got the cure to save half of the world population in his head.
I want room service.
And he's talking about room service. I'm like, you're such a dick, man. Like, what are we even talking about? I'm not rooting for you. So if you don't care about the protagonist at all because he's an asshole, then what are we doing here? Like, it's an action movie.
Oh, yeah, and to his female lead. I had to go back, rewind the scene of her getting the black shakes, and film it to send to my friend because it was so. It was probably the worst piece of acting I think I've ever seen, and that's like including like high school plays and children pretending. What?
So another big strike against this movie is it's an action movie, and the action kind of sucks. Like if action was like on point, like if this had like, you know, Tony Jaa and like Ong Bak like level action, or at the time Brandon Lee like kicking ass, I could forgive a lot. But
yeah,
it didn't have it.
This is a failure of not going to the source material. In the original story, Molly Millions is an ass kicker and Johnny is not. He's like being protected by her, and she takes on all comers through the story. And he has to learn to survive at her behest. But whatever filmmakers were doing at that time, we can't have the star not be the guy fighting, I guess. We just couldn't have him be the passive guy. He's just a courier. He's just supposed to wander around and he gets caught up in something. And he's smart enough to know how to pull this other bodyguard. He like that part in the movie is the same, where he pays her to join him instead. That part, is maybe the only faithful exchange to the original story.
Yeah, can you imagine if they had cast like Michelle Yeoh and she was just kicking all sorts of ass, and this is like just a karate movie? But that would work for me.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say that is not great about this movie is that there should be more dolphin. I want an extended version where there's like
that dolphin prop. Dude, come on. That thing sucked, man. Like, why not just get an actual dolphin and like put some shit on it? You know who did this better was like Sequest. Do you remember Sequest, that show from the 90s?
Sequest TSB.
Yeah, that show was awesome. I liked it a lot.
Well, okay, the whole dolphin thing, like, number one, I'm reminded how much the 90s was just like obsessed with dolphins. But so this is the master code breaker. He's like the smartest thing. He's gonna save us all. Like, get the guy a tank he can swim in, maybe clean it once in a while. Like, act like you care about this fish that's apparently gonna save the world. Like,
see what
you're mammal.
That's some animal
a
cruelty.
mammal. Yeah, it's not a fish.
I think it is for number one. Yeah, okay, maybe a mammal. But I think what you're missing out on here is that there's like a strong socioeconomic message, right? This is a class struggle. The dolphin, right? Live a better life, but he's kept down in that dirty tank, and only if he takes on his corporate overlords will he get the clean water he so desperately needs.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's get into the skinny. Let's give our final grades for Johnny Mnemonic. I don't want to relive this anymore.
This movie is getting 1 out of 320 gigabytes. This is my least favorite movie of all time. I am calling it. It is the worst movie.
Whoa.
It is the worst movie that I have ever seen. It's not even a fun watch a bad movie. No. As
I give the skinny George, I don't even want to give the skinny on Johnny Mnemonic now. I just want to say that I feel deep and abiding pride, Murphy, that that the worst movie you ever had to experience was because of me. And I just want to live in that moment. That's my skinny. I feel wonderful that I gave you that experience. You can only have that experience once, Murphy.
God, I hope so.
And I gave it to you. And God, you brought this people like
Rate the movie you made us watch, Greg.
I'm gonna give this movie a D because it sucks the D.
D for dolphin.
D for dolphin.
Sucks the dolphin.
Dolphin dick. It stinks. I didn't like it at all.
Dolphin.
Dolphin.
Oh my god. I give this piece of crap 1 It's Jesus Time out of 5, and it's hard to pull anything good out of this pile of junk. So thanks, Greg, for enlightening me to a movie that I have actively avoided for the last 25 years. Thanks, buddy.
George, if you put It's Jesus Time into the description, we may open up the channel to a whole different demographic.
There you go. All right, so that's going to do it for another episode of Inside Movies. Come back like week after week. Make sure you're subscribed because we're doing like Keanu Reeves month. We're going to do all the John Wick movies, Speed, Point Break, and next week we're doing John Wick 1.
Can I say a final thought, George?
Absolutely.
This is a final thought to Keanu, not to William Gibson. You came to Little Winnipeg and you acted your heart out in Hamlet, and I was in that crowd and I believed in you. And my God, you were great in those fight scenes.
Awesome. I'm sure he's watching our little channel.
Oh my God, if you are watching, it's not you, it's the movie. I still like you. Just pretend it didn't happen. I know I am.
Are we sending messages to Keanu Reeves? Because I want to send a message to you. Keanu, I've always been a big fan, man, and I skipped this movie. If I watched this movie, I might not have been as big a fan. But I can't imagine what it must have been like for you to receive the Matrix script and be like, I'm plugging shit into my head again. This piece of crap. I can't believe we even got the Matrix after this. So good for you for taking those chances on the Wachowskis. Way to go.
I don't have a personal message for Keanu Reeves. All right, so I've been George Michail, joined by GMB CHOMICHUK, Andrew Buckley, and Murphy. Go and check out Born of Blood and all the Merc Publishing books. They're in the description of this video. And until next time, peace.